Hello everybody, my name is Amina and today I'm going to present you my research paper. The title of my research is Improvement of Speaking Skill Through the Use of Communicative Games. Why I chose this topic? Unfortunately, the vast majority of learners of English as a foreign language who've been studying it for more than 5 years still struggle producing in a real-life communication. There are several reasons for this issue, but the main is that the traditional methods of language teaching are still used in some educational institutions and do not help learners to acquire English language quickly and use it in a real-life communication. So the significance of my study is the use of communicative games as a prior approach in teaching speaking in EFL classrooms will help students to use the target language through interaction between each other during the lessons. Here is the purpose of this research: to determine the advantages and disadvantages of communicative games and its role in EFL classrooms, and to define the attitude of learners towards this approach. Therefore, this research paper is aimed to answer to the following research questions. First, what is the role of communicative games in teaching language? Second, what are the advantages and disadvantages of communicative games? Third, how can communicative games improve speaking skill? And the last, what is the attitude of learners towards communicative games as a teaching approach? So, in order to answer to these questions, I studied this literature. The first, Gözcü and Kaganaga's The Importance of Using Games in EFL Classrooms. Then, using communicative games in improving students' speaking skills by Dewey, Kulsum, and Armadi. So, here's what I found. The advantages of communicative games. Firstly, it makes students relax and enjoy using target language. Second, encourage many learners to support their interest and increase their willing to learn the language. Third, raise students' communicative abilities and cooperation with each other. And the last one, it is available at any level. However, teachers have to consider their level and age in order to use appropriate games, because the positive outcome is very important in learning speaking skill. And also, it is difficult to select the games which is appropriate especially for your group, because one game can be useful for one group of students and teacher, while the same cannot be useful for another group of people. So, communicative games emphasize more on communication rather than correctness and accuracy. Then this type of games involve students carry the task rather than produce correct structure. Also, it can be played at any level. The stages of my research: preparing questions, selecting participants, conducting a lesson, questionnaire, interview, and collecting all the data and analyze them. The primary and secondary data of this research was conducted through mixed approach as quantitative and qualitative approaches. As a quantitative approach, I used questionnaire, and the 20 students of the questionnaire had to scale to what extent do they agree or disagree with 5 statements, such as: I know what does communicative games mean. Second, I know its purposes. Third, I feel free playing communicative games. Fourth, I like communicative games. And the last one, I am interested in speaking through the use of communicative games. And the interview was conducted in order to gain qualitative data. It was done with the help of 2 participants who agreed to share their previous experience of learning English and their opinion about communicative games. So here are the results. The questionnaire was done, as I said, with 20 participants, and more than half of them know what does communicative games mean, and 25% of them are not sure how to answer to that, and only 10% of them don't even know what type of game is that. Second, only 10% of participants know for sure its purposes, and whereas 20% don't know, and almost half, it is like 10 students, unsure about why they are using communicative games. Then 37.5% of the participants answered that using communicative games is more useful and interesting rather than learning grammar only during the lesson. Then the fourth, they answered, the 75% of participants answered that they do not hesitate speaking while they are playing communicative games. And the last, they are motivated to speak, and they think that it improves their speaking. The percentage of those participants is 65. And also, according to the answers of 2 participants of the interview told that they like playing communicative games because when they are playing, they speak naturally and do not pay attention to their correctness and accuracy of using language. And also, their teacher do not stop them and correct. So they also suggested to teachers to think about their level and age in order to make the lesson more interesting, interactive, and useful. And in conclusion, it is clear that most of the students like the communicative games and are not afraid of speaking during such lessons, and they are interested in personalizing these games according to their level and age. And also, from this research, it can be concluded that communicative games help students to start speaking and to improve their fluency. The further research implications are the number of participants should be more, and the period of investigation should be longer. Then observation of 2 groups of participants should be included in order to compare the differences and similarities. Also, inclusion of the most common types of communicative games can be helpful in order to define which of them is the most effective in improving speaking skill. Thank you very much for your attention.